Do you feel like you might need a family conflict resolution retreat? Well, they are powerful. In fact, I conduct retreats for families all the time to teach them the skills and principles they need to resolve their family conflicts and learn self-government. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about establishing a family conflict resolution retreat. In this video, we're going to talk about why retreats work and what makes an effective retreat. And then I'd also like to give you some information about the Teaching Self-Government retreats to see if they might be useful to you. So what makes a really good retreat? Well, number one, you've got to separate yourself from daily life. That's important. So it is possible to have a retreat at home, but you have to tell yourself things like, okay, I'm not going to spend the day thinking about chores. I'm going to focus on the content area. I'm going to study. I'm going to learn. We're going to write notes. We're going to discuss. Those types of things are important. Now, some retreats involve a lot of learning together and then discussion and practice. Some retreats are just discussion retreats where the family gets together and just openly talks about the problems and tries to find solutions to those problems. So what makes a really good retreat? The family all wants to be there. That's number one. They want the family to have good relationships. They want to work on their communication and even see the problems within themselves that they could solve. How does a family establish this desire to meet together on a regular basis to have a family retreat and work on relationships though? Because that sounds outside of some people's comfort zones. Well, it is true. I highly recommend reading my book, Parenting a House United, where I talk about creating a family vision for the family. The family vision is a picture into the future of what type of family relationships you want to create. If you take some time to create a lasting family vision, then hopefully the family can get buy-in on what type of family they want to be, and this will help them see why they need to regularly talk about things openly so that they can improve their family relationships. When a family gets together on a regular basis, even just for a vacation as a family, this usually improves their relationships, especially if they know how to communicate in an open and honest way. So often when families have problems, it's because they are judging each other, assuming things, and not communicating effectively. They're just telling maybe a little bit of how they feel or targeting a person with a comment instead of actually discussing the problem with each other. Just like it's important with a healthy marriage to have regular couples meetings, which I talk about in my Teaching Self-Government or TSG course on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. Just like it's important for couples, it's also vital for families to have regular meetings together to discuss. So in the TSG parenting approach, we have regular weekly meetings or family meetings where we talk about issues facing the family, but we don't do it in a way where we single people out or target them. Instead, in a very diplomatic, caring, understanding way, we talk about problems facing the family, even if it's just one person who has the problem. We don't call out names. We spend our time instead discussing the issue and plans for how to address it. We also have regular family activities to practice being the type of family that we want to be. And then of course, we have special retreat times together where we get together as a group and talk about how we're doing at living our family vision and at our communication, and if there's anything else we can do. So what makes a good family retreat? When you have a family retreat, you have activities that you're working on, of course, good food and snacks, and you have some time for deliberate communication where there's no distractions. So this means that you have to set aside specific time to talk. Otherwise, it might not actually happen. When I do family trainings, I call them parenting mastery trainings. Now, a lot of times just couples come to these trainings, but sometimes entire families will come, especially if the children are all old enough enough to be able to discuss. So usually ages about 7 or 8 and up. Usually in the teen years works best for most families. These families come, they discuss their relationships, what they want to get out of it, how they're going to be doing their parenting interactions. They learn skills together and they see the world from each other's point of view just by going through the training of the self-government skills together as a group. When families learn something new together and they start to practice it together, it actually changes the relationships. If you would like to join one of these parenting mastery trainings, I only do them a few times a year. Sometimes they're online live for 3 days. Sometimes they're in-person live for 3 days at various places around the planet. These parenting mastery trainings are the very best resource that I have to help people learn self-government. Yes, I've written 11 books and I've also created various resources and trainings online, as well as all the videos here. But if people really want to know how to self-govern themselves and they want everyone to get invested in that self-government training, the ideal is to come together for 3 days for an intensive training and skills practice session as a family. This opens the door to a lot of conversation. I'll tell you what, I've had some incredibly healing moments. There was a family that I met with recently who the children were having some struggles. They weren't getting along with their parents very well, and the parents were trying everything they could to strengthen those relationships while also keep their children safe. Some of the children had started engaging in some dangerous practices at school and with peers, including substance abuse problems. The parents didn't know how to handle it. We learned the skills, talked about those together, and then there was a point where suddenly the children were ready to open up to the parents about why things were happening, and they came up with a plan for how to fix the relationship and stop some of these destructive practices. It was so beautiful to see them so happy and crying. And by the next day that they came to the retreat, they were all coming in, giving me hugs, and talking about how grateful they were that they had come to this 3-day training. Of course, people have to be open-minded for a retreat to work. If you're not open-minded, you could end up wasting your time. But you never know when someone's open-minded or not until you present them with the truth and they decide what to do with it. Sometimes a person can seem closed-minded, but when they learn the truth, something happens. And their mind opens and they decide to maybe face some of their own problems. If you feel like a teaching self-government or a TSG parenting mastery training would be good for you, then go to teachingselfgovernment.com, look in the events tab, or sometimes even right on the homepage, and you can find when and where the next TSG parenting mastery training is happening. And usually there's early bird pricing and stuff like that, depending on when you sign up. So check that out. And if you would like a little extra help with your tuition payment to go, then here's a coupon code for you. If you type in TSG deals, that will take off 20% of the cost of that admission to the Parenting Mastery Training. I hope I get to meet you better and see you there.